Hi everyone, welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Phantom, and today I'll be moving forward with the Miniverse Harry Potter Make It Mini Potions collection. I previously did the classroom, and now we're moving on to capsules. So let's take a look at what we've got first, shall we? So here we have our first capsule. Let's take a look at what's inside. Packages. These are all very nicely wrapped in paper as if they were precious, fragile things in a move. There's a Hogwarts school list wrapping paper with a book list. Handy dandy planter here, our toolbox. The cauldron that will come with every single set. It contains your resin. Tongs, which we did not have for the potions classroom potion sets, so that's nice. Read me first. I will not. Make It Miniverse Potions, the handy dandy guy here. Does it tell you what it is? Table. Okay, one cauldron. Vessel, stand for the vessel, and cork for the vessel. So that's pretty cute. There. This is just generic, it does not tell you what's in it yet. They don't tell you what that is. They don't also tell you what that is. Package. Stand for the table piece. Nice little table to go with your set. You're finally going to tell me what this is. This is tincture number 3, draught of peace. But maybe that's what is actually in here. Right? Funnel, cork, tag and cord to wrap around your bottle once you finish the project. Polyjuice Potion. I probably should have seen that before. Alright, this looks very interesting. It bothers me that, just like the Potions Classroom set, there is no labeling on any of the bottles. So, if they had not given me these instructions and said, this is Polyjuice Potion, I would have had no way of knowing that that's what it is, simply because in the books they actually describe the ingredients that go into it, and here the ingredients are unlabeled. So I have no idea what these things are. The only way you can tell is by the instructions. So let's get started. Okay, so we've got everything rearranged here a little bit to make it easier to make this. And as stated before, we're going to be making Polyjuice Potion. Now, the in-universe Polyjuice Potion consists of lacewing flies, leeches, powdered bicorn horn, knotgrass, fluxweed, boomslang skin, a bit of whoever you're trying to imitate, and then water. So clearly, given what was in that capsule, a lot of ingredients are missing. So we do have the potion water, which is the resin in this cauldron, and we are only given 2 ingredients, which this looks like hair, so this could be one of the weeds, and these little doodads here, which are impossible to know what they're supposed to be. This does not look like any of the other ingredients listed. Anything, maybe it's not grass, because I would imagine just by the name of the item, it would kind of be a tumbleweed looking ingredient. And these do kind of look like tumbleweeds. They just kind of look like spurs. So I'm not really quite sure. Obviously, this is not an authentic potion making kit. I'm thinking more likely than not, this is really just trying to approximate what the finished potion is going to look like in the flask. Dwarf in the Flask homunculus. We see Hermione make this potion in Chamber of Secrets. It does keep showing up in the series as a plot point, but at no other point after we see Hermione prepare it do we ever see what it looks like in the cauldron itself. Polyjuice Potion was in Barty Crouch Jr.'s flask when he was masquerading as Alistair Moody. We never see what it looks like. It doesn't seem, given the way he sips it, does not seem to be as thick as the version that Hermione decants from the cauldron in Chamber of Secrets. And it also does not look like, viscosity-wise, it matches what's in the flasks in the Battle of the Seven Potters. If anything, we could explain it away that maybe Barty Crouch was a better potion maker than Hermione, because Polyjuice Potion is supposed to last several hours, if not a day or longer, and Hermione's potion barely lasted the 1 hour that it took Ron and Harry to infiltrate the Slytherin common room. Judging by that, it probably was due to the ingredients she was using, because she was taking ingredients from Snape's potion stock. Then again, Barty Crouch Jr. was also stealing ingredients from the potions cabinet. So take from that what you will. There's already a lot of inconsistency in the way that it's presented in the movies. I don't actually remember if that inconsistency is present in the books. I think it's just a hand wave. Polyjuice Potion is in the flask. Polyjuice Potion is, we bought this Polyjuice Potion, so on and so forth. So let's see what this is going to look like, and let's get started now. Looking at our ingredients for the Polyjuice Potion, we have all of our accoutrements. I am actually going to be doing this in a resin cup rather than in the cauldron, so that I can see everything that's going on, and therefore vicariously you can see as well. We have our little cauldron full of resin, and this time I know that it just pops off. I'm trying to twist it for eternity. Pop that top off and peel back this label. So let's just pour all of this resin into this cup. Important to note that in the Potions Classroom Potions, the resin was clear like water, and we had to do our own colorization by crushing up those little iridescent pearls and adding colorization powder to it. This one comes already this luminescent green. It seems like for the sake of making this craft, they are cutting a lot of steps out of the actual canon method, but that's perfectly fine. So it looks like for the instructions, we pour these little horned thistle spurs into the cauldron. It doesn't tell you how many to put in, so I'm just going to put all of them. You've got a nice little plastic container there for if you wanted to fill it with your own ingredients or not. Then none of these are labeled. This just says something about plant here, so I'm going to assume that this is a plant material. We are going to stir the little spurs into the resin. Just make sure they're all coated up. And next it says that we're going to put some of these little hairs. This little label here just has a little feathery hairs on it. I don't know if this is the hair of the person we're supposed to be impersonating. Pop this little jar open. It's very cute. These instructions only point to 6 hairs being used. But judging by the fact that this is thread, we're just going to see how many come out. If any come out. Oh, no, here we got a little batch here. Whoa, okay. That's a lot. Okay, well, a lot of hair. A lot of hairs are gone. This doesn't actually seem like thread, like the previous potions made during the Potions Classroom video. This really just looks like colored paper fiber. So much easier to handle than the fabric, the thread ones. So we'll just put a stopper on that. Put a stopper on death. Back in our little workstation and incorporate these hairs into our melange here. Just sticking together. They're not separating. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And then next, it just says we're going to use the funnel included with our set to pour the mixture into this flask. In the Potions Classroom, the little baby head ingredient, the skulls, got stuck in the funnel. So let's see if these little spurs do the same thing. Oh, yep, that's exactly what's happening. It's just to tamp those down. Yeah, the threads just stayed as one big mass of hair. That's not probably ideal, but we'll finish pouring this and we'll see what's what. It's pretty goopy, so that's kind of in line with how it's described in the books. Chunky, I would say. Best way to describe this. It seems like they gave you far more ingredients and resin than could actually fit in this bottle. Because I'm looking at it now and the bottle is decently full. Let's see if we can just fit the rest of this liquid in. I still have a couple of little spurs down at the bottom there. This is a particularly noxious resin, by the way. This really smells like very chemically. I probably don't want it to have it linger on my fingers. Just tuck that in there for right now. So we can see here, it looks like all the resin got fit in. We've got this nice little mixture of things inside. Just kind of swirl it a little bit to try to get any of those bubbles out. This is very bubbly. All right, so I think this is actually looking pretty good for what it is at the moment. Let's cure and see what it looks like in the end. So let's see how long this takes to cure, shall we? The previous two potions that I made during the Potions Classroom each included ingredients that significantly retarded the curing process, whether they were the scintillating pearls that I crushed up or they were the hilariously caked dye powder. Maybe this one will cure faster. I'm not really sure. And I have helpfully been told by Chrissy that the reason I have so many bubbles in this is because of how vigorously I was mixing the ingredients in the resin cup. In future installments, I may not do it quite as vigorously as I did in this. Much like as I did the potions that came with the Potions Classroom set, I made the observation that this is basically just dropping things into resin, mixing it up, and then saying it's a potion. I stand by that comment right now, because that's really all this was. You have a cauldron of potion, you put in the ingredients, and then it comes out looking exactly as you'd expect, just a lot of free-flowing elements suspended in resin. That quibble aside, I feel like Miniverse could, let's just say they could zhuzh up these potions by using ingredients that might refract light, or might actually dissolve, or would glow in the dark, just to add a little bit more value to essentially what is just mixing things together and then hardening them. I realize this is still Series 1, Wave 1, Part A, and I realize that they branched out a bit in Wave B with the rare, ultra rare, and limited edition. The Potted Mandrake, Umbridge's tea set, and Sleeping Draught laced cupcakes, respectively. I would be interested to see what they have planned for Potion Series 2, because I feel like if they do continue on with this, I like the direction they're moving, because a lot of the potions in Wave 1 Part A are exactly as I described. You just pour a whole bunch of things into resin, you set it, and then it looks like a mildly attractive punch bowl, essentially. But I'd like to see what they do with future installments, if there's something more to the build, if there's something more to the ingredients. They've already included the action of crushing the pearls in the mortar and pestle. Given the ingredients of Polyjuice Potion, crushed bicorn horn is one of the ingredients. They could have very easily just given you a tiny chalk fragment that looked like, that was molded into the shape of a unicorn horn or a bicorn horn, because I believe bicorn horns are curled and unicorn horns are straight, and had you crush that in the mortar and pestle to add a little bit more playability to this set. Given the instructions, given what you were given in terms of ingredients, and looking at the canon recipe for Polyjuice Potion, I really don't see this as being Polyjuice Potion. It doesn't look like the disgusting gack mud that Hermione decanted into the glasses in Chamber of Secrets, nor does it really look free-flowing, so to speak. And yes, magic is involved, I understand that, but I would have liked something that maybe looked a little bit more motion picture accurate in this set. None of these ingredients look like anything that's in the Polyjuice Potion in the books or the movie. I just feel like they missed an opportunity to really have you do something far more interactive with this set. I'm not saying that they need to add all 6 or 8 ingredients to make this. I'm just saying that they could have added a little bit more playability in crushing the bicorn horn, or providing you with tiny little clear plastic pearls suspended in another kind of resin container for the lacewing fly wings. I'm just saying that as it is, this is a very reductive set, and I would like to see a little bit more crafting involved in it. All right, let's take a look and see what this looks like at the moment. It is warm to the touch. Oh, there's a bubble moving. So the inside of this is still a little unset. Let's see if maybe curing down the neck of the bottle will do anything for that. As it stands, I believe this is a very attractive product, nonetheless. I mean, it does look like the picture they provide, despite that picture being an illustration, a CGI illustration at that. But I do believe that it does. This is coming out to look exactly the way Miniverse wanted it to look, for good or ill. Also, how much Polyjuice Potion is this supposed to make? I mean, looking at the relative sizes of the containers that came with the Potions classroom and the size of the cauldron, if assuming that the cauldron is to scale with the rest of the set, this flask is enormous. Are we making Polyjuice Potion for commercial purposes here? It's an intriguing question. I don't know if it's my imagination, but I can almost see the crust forming on the inside of the resin. But maybe that's just mine. All right, let's see what this looks like now. I don't see anything moving in there. I'll probably hold it under a different light for an extended period of time to make sure that it's fully cured. But I believe that this is done at the moment. Now, clearly, I've got an air bubble problem. So I would definitely, if I were to make this set again, I would definitely not so vigorously stir the ingredients. But I will say that, you know, all of my misgivings aside, it really does look interesting. I do like the fact that the hair uncurled from its weird little knot that it was in to begin with. It does look like it spins around. It almost looks like a cat's eye marble. And I find that to be very pleasing to the eye. The little spur pieces have all just collected around the edges. I probably would have liked to have seen a few just like suspended in the middle. And it looks like there are 1 or 2, but it's impossible to tell that. For the final step, let's put the cork in the bottle and let's tie this tag and cord fiber color. Okay, cord is off. Let's take the little tag out here. It's perforated, so that's nice. It comes out very easily. At the moment, I do not have a small enough pen to write Polyjuice on this tag. I don't think they want you to use all of this fiber just for one tag. I will take a single strand off. All right, let's see if I can thread that through. Let's get that all the way into the middle of the piece of... Whoa! I just don't want to snap the thread. Let's see if my enormous fingers can do this. So I just tied a little knot and snipped off the ends. So here we have our finished Polyjuice Potion with the tag unmarked. But considering the fact that none of the other ingredients in any of these sets are marked with anything, I'm not really going to kill myself over it. All told, I'd say this is exactly what I was expecting from these potion sets. I would say that if you were going to do these, I would say look for the potions that have interesting bottles. Because this particular flask is very plain. All the accoutrements are plain. You get this little ingredient tote, which is kind of nice. But there's nothing really remarkable about this bottle. Looking at the assortment for Wave 1A, I would probably search out Skelegro or Armadillo Bile or really any of the sets that have something more interesting going on with the materials that you're given. You see, there are 15 sets in this first wave, and Amortentia is very interesting looking. Polyjuice is plain. Wolfsbane is plain. Skelegro is really cool. Felix Felicius, it comes with that very interesting stand that Slughorn used. Flesh-eating slug repellent doesn't look that interesting. It looks very Christmassy, but it doesn't look that interesting. Hellbore syrup, same. Fusion of wormwood, same. Dragon blood looks interesting. It looks like an ampule, which is very different from the rest. Armadillo Bile has probably the most metal bottle I've seen in this set so far with the snake. If this was Parks and Rec, that would be the bottle snake juice came in. Myrtlap essence is very plain. Also doesn't really jive with how it's described in the books or really in the movie. I believe in both it was more of a salve. So it would have come in like a makeup canister, which is kind of a missed opportunity because I know that Miniverse does make your own cosmetics. So they could have just reused a container from there. Bleach juice is kind of cool with the spider, but I don't know if that's on the bottle or if that's on the tag. And then Wave 1B provides you the last three, the rare, ultra rare, and limited edition. So my final thoughts are really this. Was this worth the time? Yeah. I'm not regretting that I made it. I think this is really cool. It certainly is visually appealing and will look good on a shelf. If you showed that to me and asked me what it was, I would not be able to tell you that was Polyjuice Potion. Then again, I'm a Potterhead, so I don't really know what more to say. But yeah, I'm not quite disappointed in this set, but as I've stated before, it's exactly what I was expecting. I mean, I'm not expecting magic here, but maybe a little bit something more. Anything more with the ingredients that go into it would be appreciated. Thank you for joining me for the very first potion kit from the Miniverse Make It Mini Potions Harry Potter collection. I will be going through quite a few more of these as I've got a lot of capsules. What did you think of this potion? I'd love to discuss the relative pros and cons of the Miniverse Potions concept. Did you make this? Were you satisfied with it? Are you seething that it looks nothing like how Polyjuice was described in the books or shown in the films? You let me know. But thank you. This has been Phantom, and have a good night, y'all.